for his really aggressive wolf build. In the blue trunks, it's gonna be Marian. Up in the top right, making his way back into the tournament scene after his win against Afterstar. It's gonna be Veni in the red trunks. So Veni looks like he's possibly going to go for Rax first again. This is the build he's sort of liked quite a bit. There we go. So he saved up 180 gold. So this is a build he's been doing a lot more recently. We've actually been seeing a surprising amount of this in this tournament. And it's going to be a very quick wolf here out of Marian. He does actually skip a worker to get this out quite so early. So we'll see if he can really do any damage versus Veni. Veni already setting up a really nice choke to defend this with. So he should be able to block this off. But we'll see. We have seen him occasionally make small mistakes before. So there we go. The first wolf is going to pop out now, and the second wolf is on the way. Veni will actually spot the timing of this wolf as it runs past. So there we go. He's going to spot that out already. And what's going to be the reaction out of him? I assume he's going to try and block this spot, or maybe he just doesn't care. But this wolf's going to come in now. He's going to come in, he's going to scout all wolves then. And the wolf will actually get into the main base. I'm not sure it's really going to do any damage, but we'll see. There we go. Soldier's going to finish up. It's going to start up for Veni. And that will be able to push any wolf pressure away, really. And Veni just having a quick bit of work on micro just to push this wolf away. Going to struggle to do much. It's going to do a little bit of damage, but Marian's going to have pretty tight control on it to make sure it doesn't get surrounded, because at that point it dies for free. So all in all, not much really done for Marian here. We got a little bit of scouting information. Was a little bit annoying. You might get some damage done here though. Veni's going to push this one away with the soldier, and that's just going to go on hold position. Such a nice spot, it's going to be difficult to get the 3 wolves on that you really need to fight it efficiently. Marian desperately trying to get this worker pick, and he might get it. He does pick off that worker, which is a pretty nice start for him. Both these wolves are on pretty low health though, and there's no way they're getting out of the base. Veni with the Iron Man defense right now, which is a nice play. There we go. So this is going to be one net kill for Marian there. He does get a full scout off, which is nice. But it's going to be a little bit annoying on this barracks. Oh, he's trying to kill this worker, but it's not going to happen. And now the second soldier's out, and then this is all going to get cleaned up, which is pretty nice for Veni. So, oh, it's actually going to be a barracks follow-up, and Veni does scout this. So we'll spot there's no expansion. There's obviously no expansion of his own just yet, but he is saving up it. Where's actually Veni's gold been going? You should have enough gold for an expand already. And there we go, he's going to see the Rax barracks. So it knows it is actually going to be the sort of pressure build that he himself has been doing recently. Marian actually doing a good job of keeping these units alive long enough that they regenerate, but they're not going to be able to do anything against this soldier. They're just going to run around. Cute moves though from Marian. He is going to pressure this tower to pull the soldier out of position, but his wolves weren't set up to get away. Oh, he might. Oh, he's going to try and get it. He does get another worker pick. That's pretty nice for those 2 wolves. That's really a lot more damage than they should ever have done. They should have been shut out immediately, but getting 2 worker picks is pretty nice. And Veni is going to clear up the wolves now inside the main base. But Marian just being a little bit annoying. He's not managed to kill this worker just yet, but he's going to try. No, that's going to get cleaned up. He's not going to get the final worker that he would like. Marian actually stopping workers there, so as much as he killed a few, it's not going to be a particular advantage just yet. He did force the tower out of Veni, which is pretty big investment when you're in a one base. But the biggest problem for Marian right now is Veni has 3 soldiers and a rifleman. And that's going to require a pretty heavy investment to really deal with that. Obviously you need about sort of 2.5 wolves per soldier. So you're looking at about 8 wolves or at least a couple of soldiers to deal with this. But he thinks he's got enough. The 2 soldiers come in and the wolves are going to try and get on top of the rifleman. 1 wolf at the back is possibly going to get picked off though, but the rifleman does go down. The soldier's going to go down in trade. And here we go. Marian's going to try and put some pressure on this. I don't know how much he can really do, but he's going to try. And Veni finally looking to grab the expansion. But it is actually a long way behind his opponents right now. So Marian, he's actually boosting this up with a second worker, which we've actually seen a lot of that out of him recently. Normally people just don't boost stuff, it's just not efficient. But Marian's actually just decided that it's efficient enough for him, and it's working. It's been giving him a nice set of leads recently. Then he's now going to go for the forge. He has obviously been favouring the forge a lot today, and we will probably see him going up to +1/+1. Hopefully he's learned from his lessons and he's not going to go quite so greedy into them. But Marian right now is not in a position to really pressure this. Maybe if he grabbed a workshop, or maybe if he drew down a couple of extra production facilities. But it looks like he's going to be grabbing his own forge and going for the long game, which will work out for him. He does have a slight gold lead of about 100, and right now he does have a very minor worker lead. So the forge is about to finish up from Veni, and we will probably see +1 attack out of him. And he's set up nicely for the vents here, so Veni obviously gearing up to go into a macro game here. Had enough of messing about with some early game shenanigans. Decided continuing to fight against that aggression is not what he wants. He's going to push for ground where he's more comfortable. And it's going to be double forge out of Marian. Possibly a little bit greedy here. I'm not sure about the play. Obviously he's just against 1 barracks right now. And he did get the faster expand and a couple of worker kills, which allow him to get 2 workers ahead. But he's not producing any units either, so right now he's just purely relying on the idea that his opponent's going to go for the macro game, which he is. But if Veni was to push right now, then he could be in trouble. Marian just scouting up for the third base as well. So I'm curious to see what Veni's follow-up from this is. I'm assuming he's just got to throw down a bunch of barracks and go for just sort of continued production, but he's not made any sign of it yet. Marian's double upgrades are on the way, so in about 2 minutes he may find himself a nice little timing opportunity. He's not actually producing any more units, and he's got up to about 300 gold, so maybe he's looking to expand. Maybe he's just saving up extra gold to go to +2/+2. Nope, okay, he's just going to throw down more barracks. Possibly just being a little bit indecisive, or trying to work out exactly what he wanted to go for. So, both players are going to sort of gear up for that macro game, get ready to sort of churn out those armies. But the extra set of upgrades from Marian is really going to help him out in these fights. I don't think Veni's prepared for it. He's not scouted it at all. I'm curious as to where the rest of Veni's gold is. Oh, he's actually about 300 gold behind. So that explains where the rest of his gold is. The harassment did enough to actually put Marian ahead. Effectively a full forge and upgrade. So that's very nice for him. And these wolves obviously allowing him to get a really good scout as well. And just regenerating this wolf at the front. So it can just take tower shots, poke in and see what's going on. So he probably just confirmed the +1 on his opponent. And his own +1/+1 is about to kick in for his barracks unit. Then he's just consistently a little way behind on his macro at the moment. That extra gold deficit is not really working in his favour. Marian doesn't have much of an army, so he's probably actually just going to wait for +2/+2. I guess that's the idea of his build. We did see that last time. Obviously some people like to go for +1/+1 timing, just push in and see how much damage they can do. Marian wants to play it a little bit longer. He's going to get his +2/+2, which will finish up in about 10 minutes, which is about the same time we saw him attack last time. And at that point, he's effectively going to have a full +1/+1 above his opponent. So Veni looking to open up and go for a third base in not too long. Which Marian also doing the same thing. Marian actually, I believe, yeah, does spot that, sees that that's gone down. Whereas Veni doesn't really know what's going on with his own base. Veni has grabbed a second forge now, so we'll be able to keep up to some degree in upgrades. This +1/+1 is about to finish. There's a opponent already there. And in about a minute's time, there is going to be an opportunity for Marian to push in and do some damage. A little bit passive at the moment. Yeah, there's these little mid-game spots. There's a bunch going on, but nothing really clashing of swords just yet. So Veni has actually managed to macro his way into a superior army count, which is pretty nice. Obviously the upgrades are really going to help Marian, but that unit count is nothing to be sniffed at. It's a lot of units out on the map for Veni right now, but he's going to have to come back in a second. He may pick off these 2 units. No, Marian going to back out. Doesn't like what he sees, clearly. We're going to try and grab a third base, but I think Veni's going to go in to deny that. There we go, Veni comes in and Marian's out on the map. Looks like Marian's possibly going to go... I'm not sure where Marian's going. I guess he's going out scouting. But Veni now into the natural of his opponent, and may have just found the one timing window when upgrades don't matter because Marian's not at home. Marian now sees this and he's desperately going to try and run back. But this barracks at the front is going to go down, and then he's going to start putting the pressure on. There we go, his barracks is actually going to fall pretty darn quickly here with all these upgraded riflemen. It's +1/+1 versus +2/+2, and Marian's going to try and do it. Veni trying to find a good location to fight in against these wolves. These wolves are going to go down pretty quickly at the front here. Veni does focus fire, but they're going to soak up a lot of shots for his opponent's riflemen. And they're at fairly even unit counts right now. +2/+2 is going to make a huge difference. And all the soldiers of Veni are getting cleaned up. So many of Veni's units are actually just at home. And right now he's getting chased further and further into Marian's base. The workers are going to get pulled off the line here to try and clean this up. And there's not really anywhere for Veni to escape. He's going to try and do as much damage as he can. But this was a complete overstep. He was not prepared for those upgrades, and that's going to cost him. He did no real damage, he didn't kill any workers, and he just lost his army. He had a bigger army than his opponent, and he's thrown it away. He's going to try and grab his own third base right now. But once again, that's behind his opponent. And Marian actually looks in a great spot to put some damage on. He's about a minute away from his next attack upgrade, whereas Veni is now on +2/+2. So from now on, it's not really going to be an upgrade lead for Marian, except for sort of small bursts. But he is in a great position. I don't really see where Veni can come back from this right now. Marian's going to come in and try and... There we go, he's going to pick off the worker and deny this tower on the third base. And Veni needs to find some way of dealing with this. He's going to bring his tiny little army to fight this. But that's just going to get torn to pieces. That worker's going to go down. The tower's going to actually get cancelled. I wish there's actually a little pop-up for that to have been cancelled. And this third base is going to go down. That's really bad for Veni right now. He needs that money for the upgrades, for the units, to even possibly for tech into mages to get back into the game. But Marian's production is just too good. He's got way too much stuff. The next upgrade is actually going to kick in just a second for Marian, which is going to make it even harder for Veni to deal with. He's going to try and send some units around to harass the third base of his opponent, but Marian's already on top of that. Veni actually having to back off into his natural again. Marian is just going to go home. Veni's soldiers are going to get picked off here. So Veni's going to try and pop down this third base again, but units are going to find that, and they're going to start harassing that worker. At the same time, as soon as Veni steps in to defend, there we go, he's going to come around the left hand side and try and sandwich this force. Veni's being forced to back up. There's no way he can really hold this third base, and Marian's actually just going to go for the tower. He's on +3/+3 versus +2/+2, and this is Marian's biggest chance, I think. While he's got this +1/+1 lead on his opponent, he's got about 20 seconds before his opponent's armor does kick in to make it even upgrades once more. But works are being pulled off the line, the tower's about to go down, and this is going to be 20 riflemen versus 10. I think this is it. This is where Veni GG's, and Marian takes game 1 off of Veni, and he will be going into game 2 in just a second here. I do apologise, I had the screens up. Alright, so ready, 2. Right, so the players are just getting ready. And then we've got a few more matches to clean up. We'll have Burke versus the loser of this, and Shadow versus the winner. Very exciting. And then as soon as that's done, we'll be probably heading straight away into this evening's tournament matches from Group C, provided all of those are present and accounted for. So while the players are waiting, I'm just going to take a quick break. Alright, we should be ready. Alright, so we're just clearing up the lobby, ready to go into the next one. Alright, everyone in the correct colours, I do believe they are. Alright, the players are ready. It's gonna be Secret Garden. Up in the top left hand corner in the red trunks. One game down. It's gonna be Veni. Down in the bottom right in the blue. Throwing down a house to go aggressive. It is gonna be Marian. Marian, what are you doing? Oh, it's just the normal boosting out of the wolves den? Not sure about this choice of build on this map. This map obviously has a very narrow entrance at the front here, which does make it a lot harder for aggression to really work, and then he's going to go for the the fast expand for that very reason. So, I'm... Alright, so Marian's first wolf is going to pop out here, and it'll probably get a little bit of scouting done, but especially on this map, I'll be very, very surprised if Veni lets it do anywhere near as much damage as it did last game. So, Marian obviously last game managed to pick off 2 workers, even up the worker count, and give himself a little... wasn't quite an advantage, but fairly even game last time. But we'll see. He's going to get in, and it's going to be Dragon Rush out of any here, straight off the bat, which actually I really like as a response to this build, because of the fact that Marian is rushed at this wolf to be aggressive, and he's not going to have that second base. That second base is what you desperately need to have enough wolves, enough gold for dragons. So what I'd really like to see out of Marian right now is get up to about 160 gold. Sorry, yeah, 160 gold for another 4 wolves, and then just full workers. Go all in take out this base, take out his opponent. Because right now, if he lets this fort complete, and he essentially lets his opponent get to dragons, he's going to be in with a nightmare of a time. We have seen him try and use rifles to hold on, but it's going to be very, very difficult for him. More wolves are going to come in from Marian, but it looks like this fort's going to go up, and it's going to be a little bit disappointing for Marian if he manages to take game 1 and then loses game 2 to a dragon rush, but we shall see. He's going to dip in again, try and get some aggression off on these workers. Another wolf is going to slip in, but the fort is going to finish. These wolves are going to be pretty much trapped inside the natural base, and then he's in a great position. He can even afford to throw down this tower. Obviously he'd really rather not, and he'll probably try and cancel it, but this is going to allow Veni to hold. As soon as these dragon nests, as soon as the dragon pops out, this is going to be pretty much game for Marian. He's trying to get up a second base, but no way he can get a fort up in time. And he will actually pick up another worker here. Yeah, there it goes. So Marian actually doing pretty darn well. Veni obviously just continually pumping workers so it doesn't matter too much. They're going to be on even worker counts. But he is going to delay this dragon by quite a bit. Another worker will go down, and despite Veni being on 2 bases, he's actually losing a lot of workers to this. We'll have to actually count up how many later. Which you can probably 3 kills on that wolf. I think it was 3 on the other as well. I'm not sure. So at least 3 worker kills, probably more. So a really nice start for Marian. Veni really, I'm really surprised he let that happen. It's a little bit sloppy from Veni at the moment, and this could be Veni. I'd be very surprised if he really let his skill drop this much. He used to be very, very much at the top. Marian making a rather significant sort of comeback into this. Not into this, but into the tournament scene. Then he does start up the wolves then though, and this fort is just going to deny this attack. He might get the worker pick though. Oh, but there is another tower, you can probably just kite. Yeah, he's going to block it. There we go, the wolf does nothing. Oh no, Marian's going to try and grab a 3rd base here. He did do a lot of damage, which might help, but really you just need something that shoots up, because at the moment he won't be able to attack big under fire dragons, and he's going to be able to have a hard time defending with nothing at home that shoots up. Pretty sure Veni just takes him out here. And looks like Marian's actually just going to try and macro up, which I really disagree with. Veni's going to come in, check this, and be giggling to himself, I think. So Marian is going to start a tower. So Marian is going to try and throw down a tower here in his main base to defend. But when he's starting on second dragon nest, he actually hasn't started a dragon net yet, which is a little bit late. There we go, it does start up now. Marian might be able to defend this. Just maybe. He is getting up towers, but obviously dragons in enough numbers don't really care about towers. You only need 3 to pick one off, and And any higher than that, you don't even bother to pick it off, you can just dive straight in. So, this is going to be difficult for Marian. He might be able to hold on, but spread's so thin between these bases, I don't really favour this. Veni actually cancelling the second dragon list, looks like he is going to be heading for a third base instead. So Marian's backup plan is going to be this forge, so we'll be transferring into Rifleman. And there we go. So Veni's just going to open himself up an opportunity to get into his third base here, which I assume will be taking him not too long. The first dragon's out, and there are towers to deny it, but not forever, and he should be able to find an angle to harass with. There you go, he's going to pop in, the tower's going to push it away for them. And he is going to find one worker for free in the middle of the map right now. I don't know why my sound is completely silent. Where's my sound silent? Okay, we apparently can't hear anything. So, not sure why that is. It's going to be double testing lab here from Veni to sort of upgrade these few dragons. This is a bit of a different style. Normally you see two dragons nest, one testing lab, because the dragons are obviously the more powerful component of that, but Veni looking for the long game. It's going to try and probably get the sort of max out armor versus these riflemen. And Marian is going to be grabbing riflemen pretty shortly here. He's got 3 barracks ready for it, and he does have the attack bonus on the way. Veni so far hasn't really done much damage. He's looking for it, but Marian is set up fairly well. Veni might find the odd sort of pickup, but most of this base is pretty well defended. Where is actually all my sound? Okay, apparently we have no sound whatsoever. So you're just going to have to do with the sound of my voice for the moment. Then he's going to try and harass a little bit on this forge. Not really doing much at all though, so nice idea going for the dragon counter, but Marian's actually defending this pretty well, surprisingly. Shows what I know. Marian going for the second forge here. Then you will find this barracks, and then we'll get to sort of shut that down for the moment, which is nice. But it's not really the damage you need, not when your opponent's gone sort of 3 bases and you're on 2. The gold difference obviously right now is nearly 1,000 into Marian's favour. Obviously some of that is actually in the workers and the base of it here. Actually probably about 900 of it is. But that's going to start sort of jumping further into his lead. Then he does pick up 2 riflemen here, which is pretty nice. That is what you want. You want to keep that rifleman count very low. Surprised when he's backing out now. No, he's going to come back. He's going to try and pick up that rifleman. He's going to go for it. And right now, Marian is trying to produce as many units as he can, and he might do it. Looks like Veni's backing out, so he will be alright for the moment. And he's going to dive in here now with 4 dragons onto the natural base. Going to deny us for a second. Possibly going to pick up a few workers. Not quite. He's going to bring a couple of workers low, but oh, he does get one, which is nice. The dragon's obviously on +1/+1 right now, but he doesn't really have anything other than the dragons. So they're doing some nice damage. They're getting some pickups, but if Marian just elects to run past them, well, he does actually have a lot of dragons now. Marian only actually has about 7 riflemen out on the map. Veni is does actually lose one. That's actually uncharacteristic from Veni. It's pretty poor control. He shouldn't really have lost that. Should have held it back and let it regenerate up. But he is going to pick off the last of these riflemen that came out to greet him. So he's going to go back to trying to harass this forge, which forces yet more mining time away from the third base. He might get a pickup. No, he's not going to elect to. We'll pick off this rifleman at the front. And this is actually pretty important. If Veni can pick off all these riflemen, which he might be able to here, he does bring it down to 3. This could actually be the point where he gets to dive in and pick off all the workers of his opponent. Oh, he does manage to pull it back to the tower though. So right now, Veni just harassing as much as he possibly can. He's getting another 2 dragon's nests on top of this, so he's definitely going to commit to this upgraded dragon style. No doubt about that. And he has to keep this rifleman count low. If he doesn't keep engaging and keep bringing these down, although he does use yet another dragon to that, that's a pretty big deal. If he can't keep this rifleman count low, and at the moment there's 5 at a time coming out, then he's in trouble. He doesn't have anything else to counter these. He's trying to pick off this forge, but the rifleman can come around and try and deal with that. There we go. There's only 4 dragons, and there's a fair number of riflemen here. You might pick them off though. It's going to be +2/+2 versus only +2 riflemen. So essentially +2 armor on those dragons, and the focus fire isn't great for Marian. He doesn't manage to pick off the low health one at the back. Some riflemen are going to come from behind, and he might get it. Well, Veni actually with decent micro is going to move those 2 away. Going to manage to keep those alive. The riflemen are underneath the rest of this flock though. 1 dragon will go down. Marian might be able to hold on. 1 more volley. No, he doesn't have time for it. He's going to back out with all these riflemen on sort of orange health. And with 5 riflemen at a time and yet more upgrades on the way, I think Marian might actually do this. He might hold on and push this back. So Veni now with a total of 3 Dragon's Nests. He's getting the double upgrades, and Marian with the 4th base. Marian, I'm actually really surprised he's going for the 4th. I get that he feels about the right time, but he doesn't really need it. All this extra gold from the 3rd is going to work out really well for him. And right now he just needs to work on sort of actually doing damage to Veni and sort of countering what he's doing. Veni's going to come back in, try and pick off this barracks once more, which is pretty important. That's a good chunk of his opponent's production. And he might manage to pick up a few riflemen. There are a few riflemen out of position all alone here, and there we go. 1 rifleman is going to go down. That's going to get picked up. The 2nd rifleman possibly going to go down. There we go. It does go down. But he traded a lot of dragon health for that, for fighting over a fort, tower even. And then he's actually feeling possibly a little bit nervous. He's going down for a base in the corner. There's a lot of riflemen here. There's only 2 dragons at home. 4 more dragons are going to come from behind. Another dragon's going to spawn. But if Marian has good focus fire here, he could do a lot of damage. He's actually going to get the army split in 2, which might work for him. There we go. All the dragons are now going to come in. Veni trying to keep the low health dragons away, and they are fast enough to be kept alive. These riflemen are actually getting picked apart. You might get the odd dragon kill, but I don't think this is worth it. Veni's control was actually good enough for now, and he's gonna clear all of this up. This is actually really bad for Marian right now. Veni is gonna now counterattack and do a whole ton of damage. There's nothing really here to stop it. Here we go. Veni starts to pick off that 1st rifleman. He's gonna chase down the 2nd. Marian in so much trouble. He needs to find something to deal with this. He's going to possibly try and throw down a... No, he's not going to throw down time. He's going to just keep trying to pump enough riflemen to deal with this. And a lot of these dragons are on no health, so he might be able to hold on and survive. Here we go. The dragons are going to come around on the top hand side. See if we can deal with this force base, but there's so many riflemen actually just coming out here from Marian that defending on his home turf will probably work out from there. We go. He does manage to push away the dragons of Veni. Veni just needs to get those back on high health. If he leaves them to idle for a minute, they will sort of regenerate, but that's going to give Marian way too much time to recover and get back in this game. Marian throwing down yet more barracks. And we are going to be seeing +3/+3 versus +4/+1. So overall the upgrades are in Veni's favour, but only by a small amount. Marian's going to check out this fourth base and see it isn't being mined. Not sure if he'll check down here. I'd be surprised. It's actually a very low rifleman count actually to try and engage with. Not sure about being quite so far out on the map. Veni actually is going to leave his whole base exposed, but at the same time so is Marian. He's going to come in here onto the fourth base, the third mining base. And here we go. Dragon's effects obviously have AoE, so if he can land a quick volley, he's actually going to give Marian warning enough, there we go, to split his work and try and repair the tower. Marian's just going to try and go into the third base, see how much damage he can do. There we go, the tower goes down. These dragons are now on top of all these workers. They're getting absolutely ripped apart. He doesn't want to get lured into fighting these riflemen. He just wants to chase down workers and do as much damage as he can. Marian, though, has managed to deny the third base of his opponent. And that will actually go down pretty shortly. He's going to try and engage these dragons. One dragon will fall. But I think there's just way too much here for Veni. For Marian to deal with. Of Veni's units is what I tried to say and completely screwed up there. Marian's actually now going to march straight into the main base. I don't know who wins here. I actually don't know. Veni is actually going to have to be forced back. There are enough riflemen coming out of Marian's base right now, 7 at a time, which is ridiculous. To actually force this back. They're at +4/+3 now. He's in the main base. He's down not great compared to Veni, but Veni needs his whole dragon force together to even be able to consider fighting this. Both of the upgrade facilities are actually going to go down, so that's going to really help Marian. He's going to try and pick off this house, which is actually a pretty big deal. There's no dragons coming out for a long time now for Veni. He's going to have to build a fair few, and he's actually going to try and rebuild his second labs, but once again, another house is going to go down. Veni's going to be supply boxed for ages. He does have the gold to go spend on it. If you really want to spend those on dragons. Now here comes the engagement. Veni's going to try and get in on top. Veni not actually managed to microbank those dragons. Marian actually managed to focus fire on the low health units of Veni. One more is going to get focus fire down at the top. Veni dropping down to 7 dragons. He's going to pull the low health ones back now, and the workers are being pulled to try and clean this up. Here we go. The last of the riflemen are going to get picked off here in the corner of his base. So Veni will hold for now, but he's dropped that base. He's going to try and take a third and a fourth base down in the corner here, which will keep him alive for now. Marian possibly thinking he's done more damage than he really has. But he has cut his opponent down to 60 supply. So, Marian now in the middle of the map. He's going to try and group all his riflemen together. He now has +4/+4 versus his opponent's +4. And he does manage to focus fire. One dragon's going to go down. The second dragon's going to go down fairly shortly at the front of this fight. But there are a lot of dragons here. They're doing a lot of damage. Marian's going to try and pick off another one at the front. Bear in mind there's obviously 7 more riflemen at a time in production here for Marian. Versus 1 dragon at a time here for Veni. So even if Veni keeps winning these fights, he's just not got enough production to deal with it. He's trying to get the gold up now. He's got these 2 extra bases in the corner. Marian's eventually just got to figure out what's going on. It's going to take a little while before he starts to get confused about where all this gold's coming from. There's no way Veni should have this much on, well, would be one mining base, except nothing's there. So Marian now also grabbing a base down at the bottom hand side. He's just going to keep going for mass rifleman, and it is going to work out for him, I think. I think he has actually just capped out, or nearly capped out the upgrades on those, so he does want to keep getting the upgrades. He doesn't want to fall behind in that. I think right now he's just confused. He's trying to work out where his opponent's extra bases are. And then he's just checking for the same. He's now going to march down here and he will find the extra base of Veni. Veni's going to try and deny this fourth base once again, and we'll pick up a few extra workers. But there should be enough riflemen at home to at least delay this and slow it down. But there we go. Marian does find this base right now. There we go. He's going to turn around. He's going to try and pick that up. Veni actually into the third base of his opponent. He will pick up a bunch of workers, and this is all the mining bases of Marian denied right now. And Marian actually doesn't have enough gold for workers. So this is actually going to turn into pretty much a base race scenario. Both players dropping down to almost 10 workers. Marian actually is going to clean up this base. I'm not sure he even realizes there's another base to claim down here. Marian actually is still desperately trying to produce enough units. One more dragon's going to fall. The second one, there we go, second one gets focused down. But obviously this is a large chunk of Marian's army that's going down right now. There we go, Marian finds the rest of Veni's workers. He's going to try and clean this up. A whole train of riflemen is actually on the way. I don't think Veni can win this right now. Despite his comeback with the dragons, he's possibly overcommitted. And here we go. Marian's going to start chasing this back. The issue for Marian is he needs enough gold to start replacing these. But actually, Veni is on 3 workers. So I think right now, Marian can just force the issue. He can just start mining underneath these towers where his workers will be safe. He can just keep clearing up these bases. And as long as his army is together, I don't think Veni can do anything about it. He's going to come down to the bottom left though and try and find the rest of his army. He might be able to make a comeback if he can catch half of Marian's army at once. And actually manage to split it apart and then just deal with the other half if he's got enough health. Then this could work out for him. He is +1/+1 compared to his opponent. And he is going to find a chunk of his army here. Marian at the moment is trying to move across the map, but his army is just split into chunks, which is not what you want against these dragons. Then he might do this here. Marian falls down to 24 riflemen, and he isn't actually going to manage to pick one up. He drops down to 20 riflemen for absolutely nothing there. Great pickup from Veni, which might allow him to get back into the game. He's already back up to 6 workers. And oh no, Marian, don't let him find that base. Veni comes storming across. Oh, Veni's going to back up before he sees it. He doesn't see the base. He possibly could have just won the entire game right there, but he doesn't see the base. He is going to find the rest of these riflemen though, which is almost as good. There's only 20 riflemen left, and this is going to be another 5 or 6 riflemen picked up right here on the left hand side, which could actually give him the game if it's enough for him to engage the full force of his opponent. There's another 3 at a time coming out for Marian, but that doesn't really compensate for the fact that he did just lose about 5 riflemen. Probably actually slightly more. Marian just needs to get his army together. Right now, that's what's killing him. The fact that he just can't force an engagement. He can't actually defend anywhere. He's losing way too much of his army. He's going to scout around for yet more bases, and I don't think he realizes his opponent is just sort of really relying on these dragons. Oh, then he's going to find another few workers, and is actually going to even this up, which is pretty important. Veni obviously just trying to rely on these dragons, whereas Marian actually needs more units. There you go. Veni's going to once again sort of pounce on this forge. It's not really upgrading anything, but it's a nice pickup nonetheless. And here we go. Veni's going to try and pick up more riflemen at the front. Marian's going to try and actually engage. He comes in the focus fire, not quite there. He doesn't manage to pick one off. And then he actually taking the worker lead after the base race started. I'm not really sure. I can't wait to see Marian just actually literally turn this into a base race. See if he can do enough damage to win the game outright. And then he is searching for any extra nonsense. Marian just trying to turn the game back to a little bit of normalcy. But right now he's basically traded away sort of 10-20 riflemen, and his opponent's still on 9 dragons. He's still kept them all alive. So as long as Veni can keep doing this, keep harassing, keep trading just little bits of his regenerating health for more units, he's going to be in a fantastic position. And then he actually managing to, he's got enough mining right now that he's actually managed to climb significantly above his opponent in workers. So then he's going to come down the bottom hand side here. He is going to find this base finally. So that's going to be a little bit frustrating for him that he didn't know where this was. But this is going to be the last of his opponent's workers. There we go, dropping down to 5 workers. He's probably actually going to clear up all the remaining workers of Marian. Marian only with 1 worker left. I think this is it. There's nothing really he can do at this point. Marian knows that he's going to try and now actually base race with his opponent. I'm pretty sure he's heading over there to do so. And he does have a lot of buildings. And you see actually, he does have a lot of stuff that you would have to kill. But then he's going to go for it. He's going to start working on this forge, and +5 dragons do rather a lot of damage pretty quickly. And Marian's still chasing down the remaining bases of this. Veni obviously making still more money off his workers. Neither player really making much at all right now, so we'll just show you the building this tab as they finish each other off. There we go, there's the last worker Marian. And we're just going to skip over this tower in favour of Marian actually managing to build the odd 1 or 2 more. Managed to clear up this base down here. The next base is going to go down. He's going to spend time trying to clear up these workers, but I'm not sure he really needs to. Veni right now just trying to burn through this barracks. And Marian desperately just needs to get up to his opponent's base. He needs to start chewing through his buildings. It won't take that long, but he's got a timer on him. Then he actually, these dragons do a lot of damage. And where's he going? Where is he going? I think he's just going to go make sure no mining is going on and just deny this. But Marian is now coming up. He's going to try and deny this long distance mining. There you go, 1 more worker will go down. And then he's going to have to back off. No more mining for him for just a minute. He actually has a dragon waiting to pop out if he could afford any houses. And then he's going to pick off this base. It's getting pretty close. Marian's into the main now. And he does have a lot of +4/+4 riflemen. So it's going to be close. We're going to see who can actually do enough damage to win this base race. Then he's now going to go off this tower, going to pick this off. And he's actually in a pretty good position. Marian obviously has a lot of stuff that needs killing that's pretty high health, like houses, like the castles. And then he's actually wasting some time. He's dancing between bases. He's not really getting much done, while as Marian is going to keep picking up another house here. And then this castle and these testing labs are going to go down. Both players obviously fighting anything that shoots back, not only just so it's more efficient, but also just in case the engagement does come. So Veni now is also going to pick up this castle, but There's another 3 castles after that for Marian to pick up. Oh, Veni is trying to hide this castle up in the top right-hand corner, which is really nice for him. That'll allow him to survive a little bit longer. And Marian's going to clean up this base here. But when this victory screen doesn't pop up, he's going to be pretty confused, and he is going to need a couple of minutes to actually just find all the rest of Veni's stuff, which might give Veni the opportunity to pick up some of these riflemen, or at least just clean up the rest of his base. But he's still got another couple of castles to go through and a whole bunch of barracks. So Veni is buying himself some time. He is buying himself some time. I don't know if you need completed buildings. Oh, I really hope you need completed buildings, because otherwise Veni could die right here. No, buildings in progress apparently do count for a base race. Veni doesn't have enough gold for any more buildings, and Marian's going to go desperately searching around the map. Veni at the moment is still trying to clean up these houses, but the dragons don't have enough DPS. There we go, the castle fishes in the top right hand side. Obviously this game at the moment doesn't have anything to reveal your bases after all your castles go down. So Marian's going to have to do this by hand. The Wolfstone will go down, and Veni's making his way through this base. But is he going to do it? Veni's going to need at least a couple of minutes to work through all of this. Whereas in the meantime, all Marian has to do is he just has to scout out. He just has to find out where this stuff's being hidden. He knows it's not in his bases, knows it's not in sort of his third or anything. And he knows where the dragons are, so there's only one place left. Is he possibly trying to engage this? No, come on. Marian, just find the castle and you win the game. Marian! Veni's going to now take down the tower, and he's only got about 5 more barracks and this castle to deal with, really. Marian obviously not with anything hidden out on the map. He's going to find it. He's found the castle in the top right hand side. Now he just has to march across the map and try and clear it up before Veni kills the remaining of his buildings. And Veni is nearly done. Marian's down to 1 base. The castle's about to go down. There we go. The castle goes down. The dragons are now working on the rest of the buildings. Still about 5 barracks and 2 houses left. Whereas Marian's desperately trying to get up to this castle in the top. He doesn't know it, but it is the last building on the map for Veni. Come on. Veni's going to try and burn through this barracks, but Marian's going to do it, I think. He's already at the castle. Veni's trying to work through this barracks, but his dragons aren't fast enough. Veni says, oh my god, he can't believe it either. Marian finds the final castle. It's down to half health. He's going to do it. Marian's going to take this game. There we go. And Marian takes it. What? Why is there no victory screen? Why is there no victory screen? There we go. Veni loses the game on a base race scenario. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened.